announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
Listen up, you blind slapnut.
If I can be serious for a minute.
This is the Flex Network. This is the Flex Network. Flex on them. Flex on everybody.
The real reason I came here tonight is because we are live!
We are NXT.
It's your time, folks!
Sweet! A little bit of the bubbly.
The preceding announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
For life.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all the ages, welcome to 2021. Man, looks a little different around here now. Just a little bit different. But you know what? 2021 looking all right for me right now in the world of wrestling because it is Thursday. Welcome to the first show of 2021 of the Wrestling Week in Review show here on the Flex Network, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on the Twitter. We're live in a living color. I am the SnowMan. I am the man who handles these airwaves for the Wrestling Week in Review show. And boy, oh boy, what a week. I mean, literally, a week just full of so great action that was just too of wrestling this week. Man, we got a lot of stuff to cover this week. We had Wrestle Kingdome. We had Raw. We had New Year's Smash. NXT New Year's Evil. I literally could not just enjoy what went down this week. I mean, it was beautiful, to say the least, of the great action that went down this week. But before we get into the recaps and look backs of what went down over the week, we got some news for you guys to talk about. There's, I told you last week it was going to be the last week of the show was going to be no real big news other than what happened, the Brody Lee passing away. But this week we're coming back at you with some news. So let's get into the action itself of what went down. Jay White, and we're going to talk about that with what happened at Wrestle Kingdome in New Japan in a short little bit. But Jay White says he is gone. He's done with New Japan after New Year's Dash. On the next night, the next night on January 6th, he was done after New Year's Dash. He lost with his loss at Wrestle Kingdome Night 2. We'll get into that, but he says he is done with New Japan. We don't know where he's going to go, if he's taking time off, if he's going to be going to another company or what. We don't know what his future holds right now. But yeah, that's it. That's pretty much out for that. We had Timothy Thatcher. If you didn't watch New Year's Evil for NXT, you were expecting the fight pit happening with Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa, but it did not happen as Mr. Thatcher is medically unable to compete for the time being. But it has been rescheduled. So when he is medically cleared, they will have the fight pit go down. We just don't know when exactly it'll happen, but when Thatcher's cleared, medically cleared to wrestle and compete, they will have that match. Some good, interesting news coming out of AEW. We had Jungle Boy is now getting some new tunes for his entrance. As he's gotten the musical rights to an 80s, little number of Tarzan Boy. So that should be a interesting entrance for him. Can't wait to see that happening coming out for Jungle Boy. There will, and if you also watched New Year's Evil, you guys saw the announcement from Mr. William Regal that there will be a women's NXT Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. We just don't know when exactly it's going to happen, but there will be a tag team tournament for the women on the NXT roster, which should be freaking awesome to see. And we do also know that the first round of the men's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic is going to be coming up this coming week. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Mick Foley getting into the swing of things. Posting on social media that, hinting at Mr. Vinnie Mac that maybe he should remove the current president from the WWE Hall of Fame. I'm going to get into this at the end of the show because I know I'm not, this is a wrestling show. We talk what's been going on in wrestling. I give opinions, and stuff like that. I talk about what's been going on in my opinions on stuff. I know what's been going on in our country, heck, even in my state. So I'm going to save that stuff for the very end because it's going to be somewhat political. And I know I don't want to do that, but it's going to be saved for the very end of the show. Just a warning. But yeah, Mick Foley hitting at Mr. McMahon to remove the current press as a member of the WWE Hall of Fame. Take it with a grain of salt right there. New Japan has announced that an English language TV deal is in the works. It could be coming down the pipe at any time soon, in the near future, like sometime. We don't know. It'll be for the US and the UK. So that would be very great to see. If it's on, a somewhat of a big network that they can, be a weekly show. Even if it's like I want to say Ring of Honor, where they're, at least in my area, they're on Como, the ABC network on Friday night / Saturday night, kind of like midnight-ish over here. But I would not mind at all to see New Japan Pro Wrestling on my TV screen in the near future on the cable network over here. That would be freaking awesome. And speaking of Ring of Honor, the villain Marty Scurll is no longer with Ring of Honor. He and Ring of Honor have mutually come to an agreement that they will part ways. Sucks to see the villain go, but that opens the door possibilities for where he may go. Hoping he'll probably go into AEW and reunite with his Bullet Club buddies right there in the Elite. The Elite. And then, of course, speaking of New Japan Pro Wrestling, Okada even throwing out an idea, a great idea, in the near future, once we get everything back to normal-ish, where we have a lot of fans in the stands. I'm not just saying some of the fans in the stands, but a lot. Maybe a super show, a super card, super show with the big promotions. And this is he did an interview with Sports Illustrated, to hype up Wrestle Kingdom, and in essence, saying that when the world calms down, I would love to get back to the other wrestling companies, to all the wrestling fans in the world who still support us, even in this current situation. New Japan, WWE, AEW, CMLL, AAA, all together. Sounds pretty cool, don't you think? That would be kind of a great idea to do a super card, a super event where you get the best, talents from your roster. You have, from these companies, and you have a great supercard as a really great way to say wrestling is here, wrestling is back. This is a chance for us to give back to you guys who have supported us, who have kept watching us and asking for us to come back in during this pandemic, and we wanted to do something cool with you guys. And if it meant we got to see Okada and Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, Kenny Omega, John Moxley. I'm trying to think of, like, I don't know any AAA superstars, or even CMLL wrestlers, but that would be freaking awesome to see a super show with the big promotions. I mean, I know it probably will not happen. I mean, WWE granted, they have said, corporately that, oh yeah, we would be open to do business with other companies and everything. But realistically, on a realistic view, to say that WWE, AEW, and maybe New Japan, throw that in there, would be willing to do a super show once we get back to a normalcy where we have big crowds, which would be, again, it would be awesome to see. A mixture of, 3 main events, a main event from WWE, a main event from AEW, a main event from New Japan, and maybe a super main event where you got all 3, companies to do a triple threat match. Just say that would be kind of cool. That would sell a lot of tickets. That would sell a lot of subscriptions right there to each brand's promotion. Right there. That's a lot of merchandise sales right there. That's some big money tickets right there. That would be a very great idea down the line once we're back to normal and this pandemic is under our thumb and we can get some normalcy again, and we can go into big stadiums. Hey, I want to see if put that in the Astrodome. If they could get the Astrodome, filled up again and looking right and feeling right, I would believe that would pack Astrodome. There's got to be someone out there be like, you know what? You get the big promotions out there, give them a great card. Got to see the great talents from all these promotions. You put them in the Astrodome. Oh yeah, sell out. I would even be surprised if that broke WrestleMania 17 record, if that was to happen. Or even, like, trying to think of another big stadium. I wouldn't think Minute Maid. Heck, even put that in LA at SoFi Stadium. That would be a freaking sellout right there. But just that would be a great idea. Something down the line. Heck, even add NXT in there. They would kill it. Oh, they would kill it instantly right there. Put some NXT talent in there. Oh. I see money. I see a lot of money coming down the pipe. All right. One more thing, or 2 more things. Rhea Ripley, if you saw New Year's Evil, she did lose in the last woman standing match, and there is rumors floating that she is probably done in NXT. And she's going to be getting the call up to the main roster. And you know what? What we're hearing is that she'll be called up to Raw and to continue the rivalry with the Queen Charlotte Flair. I'm interested in that. But again, call ups nowadays seem to fall flat after a while. They get their main rivalry done, and then they go whisper in the wind. So I feel like Rhea might get lost in the shuffle. But I feel like with the women, at least on the women's side, she would get a little bit more attention because unlike the men where they have this one rivalry and then they do sporadic things and then they get lost. At least with the women, there's now a whole lot of things that, they'll be able to do. I mean, there's a lot of things that they'll be able to do, but it's not like, let's say Apollo Crews, when he got called up, he had a quick run, sporadic, tucked away, and then brought back up for some stuff. And now he's getting in the title picture for the Intercontinental Championship, which will be happening this Friday. But yeah, and then that is going to be it. There is one other little thing, but that'll be a part of the Wrestle Kingdom recap, which we're going to go into. So I cannot stress this enough. That was the news report. But I cannot stress this enough. If you have not watched anything on the tube, anything in the wrestling world this week, this is the spoiler alert. Because when you hear the woo, it's time for a spoiler. And this is big spoilers because we had a big 2-night event. Say it again, Flair. This is some big spoilers because Wrestle Kingdom 2-night event went down January 4th and the 5th. How do I know this? Because I was up midnight to watch both shows. Both nights. It was just so awesome. So sweet. So great. I cannot stress this enough. Go back and watch Wrestle Kingdom. Go on NewJapanWorld.com and order the replay. Go on Fight and order the replay. It is some of the best action. Period. Even if you haven't heard half the roster, 2/3 of the roster, 99% of the roster, it is still worth the time to invest in watching awesome matches galore. But let's get into it. Night 1 of Wrestle Kingdom. We had a New Japan Rambo. For us over here in the States, it's Royal Rumble or Battle Royal. But this time it was with a twist. A 21-man New Japan Rumble. Normally it comes down, they tend to bring it down to the final 2, and they go in a one-on-one match at the end. This time, however, with the provisional King of Pro Wrestling 2021 trophy on the line, they decided that the final 4 will qualify for night 2 in a fatal 4-way match for the provisional King of Pro Wrestling 2021 trophy. 21 wrestlers entered into the match. Our final 4 competitors were Chase Owens, who started the match, started the night for a Bullet Club. The Rogue General Bad Luck Fale, a Bullet Club, Bushi of LJ, LIJ. Los Angeles. Yeah, I cannot say, I always say the name wrong for this group. It is so bad. And then Toriano, who didn't even get into the ring. He was he was walking towards the ring. He was the last entry. He's just walking towards the ring. And all of a sudden he gets within maybe 10 feet of the ring, and match is over. The last person was thrown out. You guys qualify. I'm like, okay. He didn't have to do a damn thing. He had to walk to the ring, and it's like, okay, I'm here. Hi. Here's last year's trophy, and I'm out of here. I qualify. So Toriano, Bushi, Bad Luck Fale, and Chase Owens qualify for night 2 for a fatal 4-way match for the Provisional King of Pro Wrestling 2021 trophy. And that was on the pre-show. How about that for a pre-show to start? So main card, we start with a number 1 contenders match for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match for night 2, as it was the winner of the Super Junior tournament and the winner of the Super J Cup tournament. As Hiromu Takahashi, the Best of the Super Juniors winner, taking on El Phantasmo, the Super J Cup tournament winner, the back-to-back champion for the both tournaments. And this was a great match just to even kick off the main card. Tanahashi and Phantasmo killed it. Back and forth. Tanahashi picks up the victory, and he challenges for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title on night 2 against Bone Soldier, Taiji Ishimori, and we'll get into that in a small little bit. GOD, Guerrillas of Destiny, taking on Dangerous Tekkers for the IWGP Tag Team titles. This was an awesome match on its own, with Dangerous Tekkers of Tai Chi and Zack Sabre Jr. bringing the heavy hit and just submission, magician, general ideas with this team, taking on the Guerrillas of Destiny, Tamatonga and Tangaloa brothers, part of that Samoan lineage and Samoan, family tree line, I would say. It was a great match. I highly recommend you guys go and check it out. Guerrillas of Destiny picking up the victory and becoming 7-time IWGP Tag Team Champions, thanks to some Iron Fingers help in their efforts. IWGP US Championship Challenge Right Certificate match, as we had Kenta, who was holding on to the briefcase, taking on Satoshi Kujimura. Winner holds on to the IWGP US title opportunity rights, kind of like Money in the Bank. Great match all on its own. Kenta picks up the victory and retains. He now has his sights set on Jon Moxley and that US title. We're going to get that title match soon rather than later. And it's going to be great. One-on-one match. Tanahashi, the ace, taking on Great O'Khan of the Empire. And it was a brutal match, to say the least. The ace still proven he still got it in this new world of wrestling that has been given to us. Tanahashi picks up the victory and knocks down the Great O'Khan a peg or two. And then another matchup for the Empire, as Will Ospreay taking on Okada, I would say the proverbial Iron Man of the New Japan Pro Wrestling, multiple time IWGP Heavyweight championships to his name. Awesome, great matches attached to him, 5-star matches, classics to go back and watch. Even with Kenny Omega, they've been great. And Okada still proving why he is the man, as these former Chaos members went at it. Will Ospreay coming up short in that matchup. And then main event for night one, it was the IWGP Heavyweight Championship and the IWGP Intercontinental Championship matchup, as Tenso Yanaito of Los Ingobernables de Japan. I told you, I botch names. That's my gimmick here. Leader and the world champ, the double champ, defending against Kota Ibushi, the G1 tournament winner. And they put on an instant classic. You could not say classic. A 31-minute grueling match, half hour right there, baby. And I gotta give credit where credit's due. For the matches in general, excluding the New Japan Rambo, all of the matches on night one were very well orchestrated, very well planned, and very well detailed. To the point that they were almost 15, 20-minute matches. The last two matches on night one, over 30 minutes. So you had great matches, and you have the company's nod to go 30 minutes or even, close to 20 minutes if it's going to be, you're going to get a great match out of it. And with the crowd, and again, when you go back and watch this and you see the crowd, or even if you watched it live and you saw the crowd, they were telling you, okay, with the COVID restrictions and everything, yes, there were fans there. They were not allowed to scream, hoot, holler. They were not, like a normal wrestling crowd would be, where you're hearing all these, just like let's go, like chanting for Ibushi, or at least if there were Americans there, but you get what I'm saying. They were not up and hooting and hollering. They had like noisemakers, like the thunderclaps and stuff like that. With them, they could clap, to that degree, but they couldn't do like a normal crowd reaction and everything. And there was some moments during the event where, like, you know what, I feel like the matches that were going on, that they would have gotten a great pop for these, for all these actions and everything. You got that when you saw Okada and Ospreay, and you also got that when you saw Ibushi and Naito. They literally killed the main event. And the fact that one of these two men was going to win and have to defend the titles again the next night on night two against Jay White, I don't know how the heck they were going to, even make it through, especially when you go a 30-minute match. With the main event was a 31-minute and 18-second match. So 31 minutes. And now you got to go probably do another 30-minute match, even more, on night two. That's just a testament to how well these guys paced and how well they told a story and how well they just did their match. It was great. But yeah, Kota Ibushi beats Naito, is your new IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental Champion for night one. That moves us into night two, where the action continues, and we're going to get great matches out of this card. Gotta get a little water there because night 2 was even better. Night 2 is even better. 2 pre-show matches we had from the Stardom, New Japan's women's, division slash company. We had Queen's Quest in a 6-woman tag taking on Donna Del Mandelo. I'm not going to try say their names, but 6-woman tag action. We had Queen's Quest picking up the victory. And then a tag team match, we had Donna Del Mondo again, 2 members from that group taking on Mayu Itiwano and Tama Nekumu. Again, I butcher names. It's sad. Dela Del Mondo picking up the victory in that. So they went 1 for 2 in the night. In the matches that they had on the card, it was great. Main card, fatal 4-way match to kick off the night 2 action as the final 4 from the Rumble or the Rambo competing in a fatal 4-way for the provisional King of Pro Wrestling 2021 trophy. Chase Owens, Bad Luck Fale, Bushi, and Toriano. Balls to the walls. These guys were. It was a short, granted it was a short match, but it was very well done. Didn't need to go over, didn't need to go 10 minutes. You had, it was a fatal 4-way, so you had a lot of things that could happen. And you had last year's official winner, at the end of December when they, the final match in December that they had, Toriano beating Bad Luck Fale for the 2020 King of Pro Wrestling trophy and to be the official recognized champion. And now 2021, you start off with Toriano as the provisional King of Pro Wrestling 2021 champion. And now he has to survive the rest of the year. 12 months or 11 more months to go. 1 month down, 11 to go for Toriano to defend and become a 2-time King of Pro Wrestling champion in 2 different years. Tag team match coming up for the second match of the night on the main card. The IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles up for grabs. Suzuki Gun with El Desperado and Yabushi Kanemaru taking on 1 or 8 in tag team action. Suzuki Gun. Hold on 1 sec. Sorry about that. Suzuki Gun picking up the victory in the tag team action. These guys, the crews, the junior heavyweight tag team matchup was great. Under 15 minutes, they got a lot of high spots in there. Very well received match. I liked it very much. I want to see these guys go at it again. It was very enjoyable. Next matchup on the card was the Never Openweight Championship. Shingo Taiji taking on Jeff Cobb. Holy monkeys. Was this a awesome match? The Never Openweight Championship can be, challenged by a junior heavyweight, a heavyweight, and the fact that you got 2 heavyweights and these guys nearly broke out everything in the kitchen sink. These guys were tearing down the house at the Tokyo Dome. I'm surprised that the Dome still stood after these guys went through each other. Holy enchilada. I would say if the main event was not match of the night, I would say that the Never Openweight Championship match would be match of the night because of how powerful what these guys were doing to each other. This was a heavy hitters match, and God, blew my mind. And I'm surprised that the Tokyo Dome was still standing. I can imagine if the crowd could react, besides the claps and the thunder sticks, I would bet you those people would be out of their seats, jumping, hooting, and hollering for this match. And it was that well performed. It was very well done. I loved every second of it. I want to see this match again. Give me that match again, and you got money right there. And of course, Jeff Cobb. If you don't really know about this man, you might have seen him before, but on a different promotion under a mask with Lucha Underground as Matetsu Cueto, the monster. Yeah, there's something for you guys to go back. But dude, this was a great match. One-on-one match as we had Sonata, former tag team partners, former IWGP World Tag Team League winners, tag team champions going at it as Sonata taking on Evo. For former partners, they knew each other very well, and I could not get enough of this match. Just the back and forth, they knew each other's moves, and the one move that Sonata does, I find it very enjoyable to watch. Just to see him tie up his opponent, with his legs and his arms, turn him on his on his knees, and just like on the mats, like he can't move his arms, can't move his legs, like he's trapped, and then he just gives him a swift kick in the ass. It's like it is very funny to watch, but Sonata looking like he's going to be the next challenger for the IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental Championship, as he is the one who picked up the victory. And even before we got through that match, seeing Dick Togo, member of Bullet Club, as Evil and Dick are members of Bullet Club now, since over the summer, seeing Dick just get sent through a table, and how he went through was so, I don't know what the word I want to use is. It was more like you knew he was going to go through a table. The way he acted and went to go through the table, like you knew he was going to go, and he was like, okay, I'm waiting. I got hit. Oh, it was just so comical to go back and watch it. If you find a GIF of that, it's like, oh my god, like you cannot tell me that is so obvious. Like, okay, great acting skills, man. Give that man the Academy Award. Because we did not know he was going to go through a table. Wink, wink. Which is so funny. But the match itself was awesome. IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship is the semi-main event for night 2. Takahashi taking on the champ, Taiji Ishimori. Takahashi having a hand injury from night 1. And for the junior heavyweight division to be in the semi-main event, which if this was a night, if the double championship hadn't been happening since last year, you would normally see the semi-main event be the Intercontinental Championship match or the heavyweight title match, and the Intercontinental, they would reverse. But with last year being the first night, the two main events on night 1 was the Intercontinental Championship 1-on-1, and then the heavyweight title on night 1 as the main event. The two winners would meet in the main event on night 2. The losers would meet in a 1-on-1 match. And I'm telling you this because it's going to play even more into the main event. But for the junior heavyweight title to be in the semi-main event on night 2, that just shows you the confidence in New Japan for these two men. And what they pulled off in that semi-main event was nothing short of spectacular. If you want to see great cruiserweight action, or sorry, junior heavyweight action, this was a great match to watch. Tanahashi picking up the victory. He's your new IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion and bringing the title back over from Bullet Club to Los Ingobernables de Japan. And now the main event. And surprisingly, the best match, bar none. Under the pretenses that story-wise of the history and how we all got here. You're talking about Kota Ibushi, the current double champion, the heavyweight and intercontinental champion, taking on Switchblade Jay White of Bullet Club. And remember how I was talking about, the last year with the double championship setup. Well, night one of last year was Intercontinental Championship of Jay White taking on Tetsuya Naito for the Intercontinental Championship. Jay White lost, shockingly. And then we had Kota Ibushi taking on Okada for the heavyweight title, with Ibushi losing as the G1 tournament winner. He got the heavyweight title shot. He lost, so he moved to face Jay White in a one-on-one match, not for titles, just for not even respect, more like just to save face for the year that they had. And the fact that in that match, which was third to last, so it was not even the semi-main event. It wasn't the main event. It wasn't the semi-main event. It was the sixth match on the card that night. And they went 25 minutes, and Jay White pulls out the victory against Kota. Now, that was 2020, the beginning of 2020. We go through 2021. We have the pandemic, and everything happens. We get to the G1 tournament. Kota wins the G1 tournament. We get to, I think it was Dominion. Kota loses the G1 tournament briefcase, wings, which means he loses the title shot for the main event for the heavyweight and intercontinental championship. Jay's going to wrestle on night 2. He's got the guaranteed title shot. Tenzo says he's not defending the title unless he's going to defend the titles unless he gets on night 1 the opportunity to Kota Ibushi, as he's earned the title shot by being the G1 tournament winner. They grant that. Kota wins the match. So now, 1 year later, to the day, we get the rematch. Not for bragging rights, not for personal admiration, not for, because they lost and this is their consolation prize. We're talking the main event of night 2 for the double gold, the heavyweight and intercontinental championships. Kota Ibushi as the champion taking on Jay White. You cannot tell me that is a poetic justice of stories right there. That 365 days later, these two men would meet again, and it would be for the world title, for the double championships. And even though Kota had to go through a 31-minute and 18-second match on night 1, and he still had gas in the tank to go up against a fresh Jay White, and they went 48 minutes and 5 seconds, the longest match in the Tokyo Dome. And this match was a classic, an instant classic. So you're telling me I need to go check this match? Yes, I do. You need to go watch this match. It was unbelievable. You're looking, and this match, I cannot stress this enough, was beautiful. You thought at times Jay White was going to get it. Near the end, Kota was like so close, and then they just keep going back and forth, and they gave everything they had, and this was what wrestling was about. A awesome, beautiful, well-crafted, well-storied matchup. And Kota Ibushi, after the year started last year, 1 year ago, where he lost the heavyweight title, then he loses to Jay White the next night on night 2, wins the G1 tournament over the summer, loses the briefcase to Jay White, defending the briefcase. First time in history that's, someone had lost it. And now, main event, night 1, wins it. Main event, night 2, retains the title. It was so great to see. And the fact that they went over, Kota went over, he essentially spent a good hour and 19 minutes in the 2 nights he went through hell. An hour and 19 minutes to defend to win the titles and defend the titles. Instant classics right there. It was just awesome. So go and check, go and reorder the pay-per-view. Go on fight.com to order it. Go on newjapanworld.com and order it. It is so well worth your time to go and watch. I highly recommend. But that's how we start the new year off with New Japan. Killing it. Literally, I couldn't be even more happier. And the fact that the next night, last night was New Year's Dash. It was essentially the Raw after WrestleMania feel to, kick off to start anew, to get things going for the new year. And it was just mostly tag matches, nothing really big, happening. Of course, Jay White's, at the press conference at the end of Wrestle Kingdom saying he was done after New Year's Dash because he's contractually obligated. And then Ibushi saying that, you know what, I am requesting that New Japan unify the Intercontinental and the heavyweight titles, as he feels that since no one is individually challenging for the belts for either the heavyweight or the Intercontinental Championship, that it's time for the titles to be unified to be one champion. And while I do feel like, he does have a point, maybe unifying them would be a good idea, in the sense that since the double gold was, granted, it's been a year, but you kind of have to give it some leeway, as the fact that in the year, things were shut down, things were thrown out of proportion in chaos, things were moved aside, and plans were screwed up. And I believe that maybe if it was a normal year last year, Wrestle Kingdom came and went, and no pandemic, and everything went as normal, if everything with the Olympics, because they had to do the G1 tournament early or later because of the Summer Olympics being in Tokyo. I feel like maybe that the unifying of the golds idea would stick better after a year of the constant defenses. Maybe someone, maybe not going for one title now, but with everything and how many defenses there was of the IWGP titles, I don't agree with wholeheartedly with with unifying the titles. I just don't agree with it at this point because the two there was only 3 defenses. You had 3 title changes since last year. Naito winning on night 2 both titles. He loses it to Evil in July at Dominion, and he held on to it for 48 days. So, and that was just, and he had one defense. He loses it back to Naito later in August, a month later, at Summer Struggle in Jinju. Held the title for 128 days. So for Naito, he held it for between the two reigns as double champ, he held it about 2, maybe 310, maybe 310 days. If I'm just trying to do math in my head, but let's just do it with a calculator. 317. Okay, so he held on to it for 317 days. Out of the 365 days, he lost the belt twice. He lost it to Evil, taking 40 days off, and then he lost it to Kota to end the year, to end it, or his last reign at night 1. And he's had one defense, and that was night 2. So I am not really in the favor of combining the titles. While that might be a great idea down the line after maybe another year, maybe another 2 years, depending on if someone wants to split the belts and maybe, okay, you know what? I think the double championship has run its course for the time being. I want to challenge for the Intercontinental Championship. I just want to challenge for the heavyweight title. But combining them at this point after a year in the way that it has been, I don't agree with it. So that's just my opinion with the double championship and the request for Ibushi has put in with New Japan Pro Wrestling. But yeah, that's going to be it for New Japan Pro Wrestling stuff. Let's get into what's been going on this side of the world. Let's get into what's been going on Raw. And I'm going to have an opinion about something that went down as we had Legends Night on Monday Night Raw this past week. And we had a lot of great action on Monday. Tag team matchup between the New Day, The Miz and Morrison. New Day picking up the victory. AJ Styles taking on Elias. Elias losing to AJ Styles. And Elias's buddy, new buddy right now, Jackson Ryder, trying to get a swing on AJ Styles with the guitar. Yeah, AJ Styles' big muscle jump kicks or really gets his leg up and just prevents that and shocks the hell out of a lot of people. It's like, damn, man. That was an interesting point right there. Women's tag match. We had Lacey and Peyton beating the women's tag champs in Asuka and Charlotte. I don't know what Lacey's thinking with trying to woo old Flair, Ric Flair, Daddy Flair, I should say. Maybe it's just to mess with Charlotte, try to throw her off her game, but I don't know. Riddle taking on Bobby Lashley. Riddle picking up the victory, looking like he might be in line for a U.S. title opportunity. Dana Brooke losing to Shayna Baszler in one-on-one action. Randy Orton trying to go on I don't even want to call it a goading situation with the legends, trying to get them to attack him, fight him, whatever. Throughout the night, messing with Big Show, trying to get him to fight him, messing with a not a walking roll but rolling Hall of Pain World's Strongest Man Mark Henry, and trying to pick things back up with Ric Flair again. I don't know why, but beating Jeff Hardy in their matchup. Tag team action with Lucha House Party taking on the Hurt Business, the Raw Tag Team Champions, and there looks to be some problems in the Hurt Business with the tag titles. That's going to be very interesting to watch and to see what's going to be happening with those guys. And then main event, Drew McIntyre taking on Keith Lee for the WWE Championship. This was a great match, bar none. I would not say, I would actually have to say for Raw, that was its best match of 2021 so far. And they were 4 days into Raw, so into the new year. So that's your benchmark, guys. The WWE Championship matchup right there. And then after Drew McIntyre retains, and a great effort by Keith Lee, I want to see that match again, put down to pay-per-view. I want to see it. Drew gets challenged by the monster, the man, Goldberg, for the Rumble. And while a lot of people have been bashing this idea and bashing the thought of a Goldberg Drew McIntyre matchup, I'm kind of intrigued a little. I would not mind to see how well Drew sorry about that. I would not mind to see how Drew's going to handle Goldberg. If Drew's going to make Goldberg wrestle his style match and go longer, or if it's just going to be another Goldberg spear, jackhammer, spear again, jackhammer, and then peace out kind of match. But again, I would probably think it's going to be more of a Drew McIntyre style, where it's going to be longer and maybe even more interesting. Again, with everything being on paper, a Goldberg versus Drew McIntyre match, I'm not going to bash it yet until after I've seen it. Now, if it was worth the time and effort to surprise everyone on the first Raw of the new year and make Goldberg taking on Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship at the Royal Rumble, and the match doesn't live up to what a lot of people are drawing in their heads, then yeah, probably a waste of time. And again, it just shows what WWE is capable of for what they were thinking of. But I have an opinion of what's gonna, for something that happened after Raw on Raw Talk, and this is gonna be another rant. So I'm sorry about this, guys. I've had 3 rants. I had New Japan rant, and now I'm gonna have the Raw rant, which for WWE. If you guys checked out, and I'm gonna drop this down because this is a serious talk. This is a serious moment. If you guys saw on YouTube or on Raw Talk on the WWE Network, you saw Mustafa Ali kind of in a pissy mode. And I'm going to And for my rant right now, I'm just going to play off of the fact that it might be just a shoot, or it may be a shoot, and maybe a legitimate, shoot slash promo for, trying to get more time and trying to get people more interested in Retribution, and just to hook people in, like, oh, you say, let's watch more, but also maybe a shoot, like this is legitimate what he is saying. If you saw and you heard, and let me read you his quote: I'm agitated, I'm angry, but most of all confused. We dedicated a 3-hour show to old has-beens. You want to call them legends, call them whatever. They've had their time. A night like tonight is exactly what is wrong with this company. 3 hours to guys who can barely walk. I know exactly that the generation before me paved the way, but when the hell are you going to let me walk on the path? Guys like Drew Gulak, Tozawa, myself, all of Retribution, not on the show. Why? Because we want to hear, what you going to do, brother? Again, for the 7th millionth time. Why don't you guys give us a chance? People that can contribute to this business, further this company, but let's push them all aside. Let's give 3 hours to people that can barely walk. They carved the path. When do I get to walk on the path? Okay. Thoughts on this? Number one, as with the aspect of, why are we giving these guys who are no longer wrestling, who can barely walk, 3 hours? Well, number one, Mr. Ali, because they are the people that that the fans want to see. You tell a fan that you're going to see Stone Cold Steve Austin, you're going to see Mick Foley, you're going to see Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, Kane, Hogan, Mickey James, Alicia Fox, Melina. You tell people that they're going to be on on Raw, SmackDown, they're going to be at the pay-per-view, or they're going to be on NXT to do something, to make an appearance. You're going to get people to tune in because people know them. They have seen them before. They've obviously have become fans of them. They have invested time to say that they are fans of that wrestler. That is why. Number one. But number two, the fact that the people are not interested in seeing what the current roster has to offer. They would rather watch the people that they know, the people that they can say, when I watch them, I know I'm going to get something entertaining. I'm going to get something good out of them. If it's a laugh, a chuckle, a ooh moment from them, or just a, hey, there's Mickey James. We get to, it's awesome. We get to see her. She looks great. We get to see Mark Henry. Oh, he's had surgery. No, that sucks. But you know what? At least it's, at least when he gets healed up, he'll be, good as new. Or, get to see Ron Simmons again with another damn moment. But these are people we all love to watch. We all love to see. If it's, even if it's on the outside, we want to, see them because these people have earned the right to have, some time on the show. They've earned it. They busted their ass. They put in the work and did everything, at least in the fans' eyes, to earn their respect and earn, a small part on the show. If it's, to come in, say hi, promote something, stunning with Steve Austin, something to that degree. But for the aspect of seeing, why don't you give us a chance? People that can contribute to this business, further this company, but no. Here's the problem. Obviously, the people and the numbers have been showing that when a certain, when people are on, at a certain time, or when that talent is on, people tend to turn off their TV and be like this. I should have just done this. Bye bye. But no, the fact that Retribution has had opportunities since they debuted. You've had opportunities since with at least right now. I'm saying with Retribution, you've had opportunities to show us what you got, to do, to do things. And so far, you've hit nothing but bunts and struck out. You have swung and missed, or you've got, you barely been tagged out at first. I'm using baseball references on this because that's just how I'm rolling with this. Drew Gulak, yeah, he's had some good moments. Akira Tozawa, he's been doing great, some good stuff for the 24/7 title. But again, it's the fact that the time you've been given, it's either been squandered or it's been not well received to the point of viewership and to the point of merchandise sales, or even to the better yet of, man, people on Twitter, on Facebook, when during the live show, when they're saying, "Oh man, Retribution's just been horrible. Why are we seeing this? It's boring." Or why are we seeing Retribution again? They're doing this and it's boring. It's not doing anything. I would rather watch this. So I don't know what your mindset is, Ali, but if it was a legitimate shoot where of this is your feelings about the legends, then you really need to go back and watch what's been going on since Retribution's been on, and tell yourself honestly, is it really that bad? Or is it just me being too close to it and I'm like, you know what? It's not, and I'm saying, oh yeah, it's been great, good. It's not been great, but it's been good. But you also need to take a step back and be like, okay, you know what? It's not being well received. Things are being confused, confusing with the group, to where one week we're losing our first match, we lose by disqualification, and then a week later we're revealed that that I was the SmackDown hacker and I know all your secrets and blah blah, stuff like that. And then the next week you lose another matchup, another 6-man tag, you lose cleanly, and then you just lose and you lose and you lose. Maybe you win a match at a certain point, but you look weak to the viewers when you are doing stuff that is just not in the mindset of a group that's supposed to be taking over the company, that's supposed to be changing the company. You look weak, especially the fact of your look, the fact that you have a guy named T-Bar, you have a guy named Mace, Crowbar, whatever, and you look like freaking Batman Beyond, or Batman Beginnings, the Dark Knight rejects. It would have been so much better if You came in with the mask, you took it off. You didn't wrestle with the masks on, and you didn't. And the people you were working with are, threatening and winning matches, even if it's by disqualification. You're winning matches, sneakily. You're being villains, but you're not winning the matches that you should have been. Your first match, you should have won. If you're supposed to be this menacing group, should have distracted the referee, and especially against the Hurt Business, you should have, lied, cheat, and stealed, and been doing all these things, but you didn't. You were getting your butts whooped. You decide, oh, we're going to just a gang attack, disqualification, you lose. That makes you look weak. Your next 6-man tag match, you lose clean. And that just makes you worse. So there's no faith with the fans, at least. There's no faith to say, oh, you guys are going to be the futures of this company. You guys are going to be taking it to new heights. You guys are going to be, we're going to give you a lot of time on TV so you can get, do more things. The fans' eyes, you've lost. There needs to be a major change, a major attitude change, or something. And maybe if what happened on Raw was the attitude change, at least in okay, you know what? We're tired of the stuff that's going on. We're tired of the fact that you give legends about a 3-hour show. Granted, a majority of the 3 hours to be on air instead of me and Retribution or Akira or Drew or I'm trying to think of someone else off the top of my head, or even in the women's division. Naomi, you're given more time for Dana Brooke, and not for Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose. You're giving more time to these people than to the people who are in the back. And then we're going to change our attitude. Then that could be believable to where, okay, you know what? Like the Miz promo where he cut on Daniel Bryan about, he's been doing this for years and everything. It changed the view for him, and it changed a lot of things with him being the Intercontinental Championship. And that promo went on to ignite a lot of things for the Miz for the year. So if this is that attitude change for Ali and Retribution, to vent, and it leads to better things for Retribution and better quality matches, better quality, time on air, then great. But if it's just, to bitch and whine and moan about the fact that you weren't on TV and these legends who can't even walk were on TV, what does that say about you and what you're doing? What does that say about you and how you are handling matches and doing what you're doing in matches? That is just my opinion on that. I need to get off that Retribution because, again, nothing interesting's happened with Retribution. I feel like they've fallen short of what they could have been. But instead of what they could have been, it's more like a running joke with these guys, unfortunately. Until something's changed. Granted, they're trying to go after Ricochet and bring him into the group. But I think if they bring him in, if they put a mask on him, it's going to be looking stupid. Just the way that they've been operating. But, all right. That was Raw, in my opinion, with Retribution, everything with the Ali situation. But moving on, let's get on to NXT quickly. We'll go through what happened at New Year's Evil. Karrion Kross taking on Damian Priest in one-on-one action. That to kick off the night was a awesome, hard-hitting match between these two Bohemians. Karrion Kross picks up the victory. Priest, the interim Cruiserweight Championship was on the line, taking on Grand Metalik. Escobar picking up the victory. Xia Li making her return after months of promos and being gone and getting these intense training and torture montages on the show. Zia Lee picks up the victory on Katrina Cortez. Looking great on that match. Last woman standing. Raquel Gonzalez taking on Rhea Ripley. This was brutal in the sense for the last woman standing for these two giants. Hello. These giant women. Raquel picking up the victory in a crazy last woman standing. An impromptu mixed tag match because of the fight pit being 86 for the night. Kushida and Shotzi, aka Kushatsi, taking on The Way. And again, every time I swear. Oh, I don't even have the clip for you guys, but every time I hear, Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae, Austin Theory, and Indy, and the group's name, The Way, I just thinking, where were they going without ever knowing the way? That's all I just hear. I see it and I hear it. The Way. That's all I think about when I hear that group, those guys come out. It's like, oh, it's The Way. It's like, oh God, where were they going without ever knowing the way? Damn. Mixed tag match. It was fun to watch. Kushatsi picks up the victory in this mixed tag match. And then main event, NXT Championship on the line. Finn Balor defending against Kyle O'Reilly in their epic rematch from NXT 31. Actually, was it 30? NXT 31? I want to say it was 31, but maybe it was. Yeah, 31. NXT TakeOver 31. That was a classic, and their rematch was even better. Oh, man. Another knockdown, drag him out match right there. Finn Balor brought it to Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle O'Reilly had to tap out, and Finn retains in a somewhat of a bloody little, cut above his eyebrow, bloody mess. Kyle, both of them had to get checked out again at the hospital, so you know that I would not be surprised if we get a third match. And even if it's at the February pay-per-view next month, hopefully they name that takeover St. Valentine's Day Massacre, because it will take place on Valentine's Day. They have a golden opportunity to name takeover in February as St. Valentine's Day Massacre. That would be awesome. But we do know next week we're going to start the tag team tournament, the Dusty Cup, the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, as the Grizzled Young Vets will take on Ever-Rise in the first round matchup, and Undisputed Era in Adam Cole, Baby, and Roderick Strong taking on Breezango. We also know the other teams in the tournament. We know Legado del Fantasma will be in it. Ever-Rise will be in it. Breezango, Imperium will be in it. Drake Maverick and Killian Dane will be in it. Kurt Stallion and August Gray will be in it. And Undisputed Era will be in it as well. So that is your field for the Tag Team Classic. 7 teams. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 7 teams. Now we might have an 8th. I don't know, but it might be a surprise. Yeah, there's probably one more tag team if it's gonna be. You're gonna need an 8 team. Probably a surprise. We'll find out later. I just had to make sure my math is correct on the tag teams. Let's head on over to AEW and talk what went down at New Year's Smash Night 1. That was supposed to happen. The final show of last year, but because of Brody Lee's tribute, that got pushed to this last night. And it was great to see. Great to watch. The Young Bucks and SCU in 8-man tag taking on the Acclaimed and Hybrid 2. They pick up the victory, and of course, we know that SCU, Daniels and Kazarian, if they lose another match, they're done as a tag team forever. And they are looking to challenge the Young Bucks for the tag titles. That will be an instant classic right there. The Battle of the Bohemians in the Inner Circle, Wardlow and Jake Hager going at it. Great match right there. Wardlow picking up the victory over Jake Hager. Cody taking on Matt Sydal. And we had a surprise appearance of, well, not really a surprise, but we knew it was he was there. But we had Snoop Dogg, Big Snoop, accompany Cody, do a remix of Cody's theme. And even after the match, we got a big old splash from Big Snoop Dogg. And that was a surprise. It was like, okay, Snoop. I mean, we get your fam is in the WWE and you've been, you're a fan and everything, but you're going to do a splash? Okay. But Cody picks up the victory. And then the one of the two titles on the line of the night, we had the AEW women's title on the line. Haruka Shida taking on Abaddon, and they threw everything at each other in this match. Shida picks up the victory and retains the AEW Women's Championship. And then main event for the AEW World title as Kenny Omega and Rey Fenix went at it. And boy, you're talking match of the night actually match of the year so far for 2021. Phoenix and Omega destroyed the place. If that building had any foundation left, it would have been crumbled because of the sheer action, the sheer energy that these guys put on. You had reversals, kickouts, and everything being thrown at these guys. It was unbelievable. Unfortunately for Phoenix, he falls short in capturing the AEW World title. Kenny Omega retains. And afterwards, Moxley comes on out with a barbed wire bat and decides he needs to take some batting practice on Mr. Omega. But before he could do some real damage, we got a surprise in some tag team champions from another company coming on in and causing destruction. In Gallows and Anderson coming in and attacking Mox, helping their buddy Omega, and they cleaned house. And some other members of the All Elite Wrestling roster tried to come in and stop, but they were met at the door at the ring with Anderson, Gallows, and Omega just cleaning house. Omega taking some swings with that barbed wire bat on Mox. The end, we had the Young Bucks coming on out, and they're like, "What's going on? What are you guys doing?" And at the end of it all, we got the sign of the not even the club, but just the Bullet Club, the Elite coming on out, and they were all up in arms, and they signaled that, yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to do it right because it is
For life.
But yeah, literally, Bullet Club is just
For life.
right there. Bullet Club right there, and it was great. A shocking way to end the show. I mean, granted, we know that Gallows and Anderson and Kenny are going to be teaming up at Impact for Hard to Kill and 6-man tag. That is going to be great to see for Impact. But that got me wondering. Again, one more rampant for the last rant of the night. That got me thinking with Anderson, Gallows coming on over to Impact. And I know, with Kenny going over to Impact to do stuff over there, and it has got me wondering if Impact and AEW are going to have this mutual relationship and everything and work, do some stuff together. I think it would probably be better for Impact as a whole to allow AEW to buy the company, to buy Impact Wrestling and absorb their talent. Now, I know someone's going to comment, do a comment or drop a line on Twitter and say, well, that would be a bad idea, or that would be a great idea, or actually that would be a very bad idea because then you're talking about a company going out of business. But just let me hear me out before you pass judgment. Think about it. Impact Wrestling right now is being shown on Access TV. Not everyone in the country has Access TV. The only other spot to get it is on Twitter or on Twitch. And they, depending on what they're doing on Twitch, what the show's going to be doing, they may get a bit, depending on what they do. Remember when Rob Van Dam had to get was doing something with his girlfriends at the time, and that got them banned off Twitch because of the content that they were doing. I feel like, again, with the content that Impact, granted, they now know what they can and can't do on Twitch, but again, if they get into a situation, again, where they do something on Twitch, that's not appropriate and whatnot, because everyone can go on and watch on Twitch, and they can get a ban, they can get their account shut down and stuff like that, and then you lose that area to do promotions. So I think it would probably be better if AEW was to buy TNA / Impact Wrestling from whoever owns them at the time right now, and they absorb their talent. They absorb the Impact Wrestling brand, which is owned by I'm trying to see who's running, or the owners. Anthem Sports, who's 95% owner, or Anthem Sports and Entertainment is the majority owner, and Dixie Carter is 5% minority owner. If they were to buy out Impact Wrestling and everything, all the copyrights and everything, the library and everything, and the names and everything, and absorbed it into AEW, do you know how much bigger AEW will be? And the fact that they're on a nationally broadcast television station, TNT, they would have no problem getting a second brand, whether it be on TNT or TBS, for a second show, maybe on a Tuesday night, where if I believe that TNA is on Tuesdays, if I remember correctly, they're on Tuesdays. But again, that would be so much better than trying to come up with a new brand. And yeah, they'll get more exposure for their talent, their current talent, if they do create another show. And besides AEW Dark, which is on YouTube, and they've been doing great on that. You can go check that out. But again, with absorbing the talent from AEW and absorbing the talent from Impact, you're going to get a great knockouts division. You're going to add that to your division, and that's going to be an awesome working women's division right there. We can take out the knockouts mantra, and you're going to have great talent there. You're going to have a more add on more tag teams. You're going to add on more single stars, and you will have the ability to do more shows, and have another split brand like WWE in essence, because then you'll have two shows, one on Wednesday night, one on Tuesday night, or one on, depending on what they're thinking. And you will have a lot more viewers. I would think, because you're going to get the people from Impact who just watch Impact, or who know the Impact roster and they like and watch them and everything. You're going to get them to come over full time to AEW, and that'll be great. I believe that'll be great for business, because Impact only broadcasts on Access, and that's on various outlets everywhere. It's not like TNT where they're nationally broadcast, and I think that would be great to see. And you'll have two brands that you could do two shows, a guaranteed two shows a week, with split the talent, one show. They'll do cross, and that's just the thing with that. So that's just my opinion with the whole Impact and AEW. And right now it seems to be working with, obviously, with Bullet Club coming in right there. The two sweet. And then we do know. So here's the card for next week that we know of. AEW TNT Championship is on the line. Darby Allin taking on Brian Cage. Pac taking on Kingston. Britt Baker taking on Thunder Rosa. Miro versus Chucky T, and Jurassic Express taking on FTR. At least that was what I had on the last time I checked for the last update for next week's card. But that is going to be it for AEW. All in all, we're done with the wrestling portion of this, but I promised and I said I was going to have one final rant before I head out. And I'm just warning you right now, if you're sensitive to this to this topic, I understand. This is just I'm just going to be reacting to what has been going on in the real world outside of wrestling. Yes, you can't turn on TV, you can't turn on can't go on social media, you can't go on even on YouTube and not see and hear what's going on or what went happen at the Capitol yesterday. Even in my state, in Washington State, hearing that people are going to the lengths of busting down and getting into the governor's mansion area up there in Olympia, and what's going on at the state capitol in Washington, D.C. And with Mick Foley chiming in and saying on social media, need to remove, hey Vince, I think you should remove Donald Trump from our WWE Hall of Fame. What happened yesterday is very sad, very not really even to the degree of any sense of sanity, because you have people that are pissed off, you have people that are bitching, whining, complaining, crying that a current sitting president is not going to be the president anymore. He lost an election during a global pandemic, and then everything that went into trying to change the rules and of how everyone was trying to vote and claiming voter fraud, claiming this and that, lost an election. He lost, plain and simple. He has had opportunities to challenge. He lost those challenges. And it's official. Yesterday, the Senate and the House confirmed the election. He is no longer Donald Trump will no longer be the president of the United States in 13 days, as he will transfer power over to Joe Biden. The fact that yesterday we had 4 people, and maybe even edited to have 3 people dead. One is an officer who's on life support. at the Capitol because of protesters breaking in to the Capitol trying to do whatever they, protest or whatnot, whatever they were going to do. The fact that they did that is so disrespectful, distasteful, and disheartening to the fact that you have people that believe in their hearts, in their minds, in their souls that their current sitting president is no longer going to be their president. It is shameful that they went to this length to do this. I am understandable that you want to protest. You want to be on the sidewalk, you want to be in the streets, and you want to be peacefully protesting that, yes, maybe the presidency was taken from him, or that he lost, via shady stuff. Whatever. That is your opinion. That is your right to protest that peacefully. But when you do something stupid and you try to do something to the degree of terrorism, of trying to whatever it is you were planning on doing, whatever they were thinking, and breaking into a Capitol building and a state building while there is business being done to go through the traditions and of going through the process of conferring the next president. That is where the line is like, no, that is just stupid, beyond the means of any sense of reality. And I hope that the people that were there and partook in it are arrested and charged with a series of crimes to the degree that they have to spend time in jail. And don't even pay fines, or actually pay fines to fix property and the damages, but to spend time in jail for the sheer acts that they did. Even to the people at my area, in my state, thinking it's okay to break into the governor's, mansion area, not necessarily get into the house, but to get into near the area, break the gate open and be able to walk in, is just pure stupidity. It's not going to change anything. Your actions are not going to instantly make people change their opinion, change their actions, and change the outcome of what's going to happen in 13 days at noon. We will have a new president of the United States. We will have a change of power. Donald Trump is going to be out as president. You don't have to love it. You don't have to like it. But that's the way it goes. If you don't like it, you had your chance to keep the current president of the United States in office by voting for him. If you want someone to blame for the pure fact that he is no longer president of the United States, look to your left, go out into the crowd, or even go on your Facebook page, your Twitter page. Look up and down your lists of your friends. Look to your left, look to your right in a crowd, and you'll see the people that chose their new president. They chose the president of the United States, of who's going to be. It is the people. It is your fellow man, your fellow woman. They have chosen, they've spoken, they have chosen their new president. You don't have to like it. You don't have to love it, but you have to live with it, because that is how our country works. So, that is just my take on what went down, because obviously you can't ignore what went down. It's in the news, it's on social media, and what happened yesterday and what probably is going to be continuing up until for the next 13 days. Hopefully it gets, doesn't get any worse than what happened yesterday, but it gets better and things quiet down. But it's with the pandemic going on, I don't know. But that is just my take. I know we don't do politics and stuff like that on here, but you can't ignore what's been going on the TVs and what's been going on in the news. So I just felt like I had to say something. as I have the platform to do it. And I just wanted to do that. So if you were with me for that little part, thank you. If you weren't here for that, if you feel like, obviously if you're listening on the podcast, and you don't like my view of it, I respect your view. You don't have to like my view. You can like my view. You don't have to like it. You can respect it. You don't have to respect it. But you know what? If you leave a comment saying, I disagree with your view, it was this, it's like, okay, you have your view. I have my view. That's it. I don't have to. That's it. But that is going to be it for me, guys. I promise I will. Hopefully, this will be the one and only time I really talk about politics is that much, because of course with everything going on. Actually, yeah, I think that's the only time. But that is going to be it for me, guys. I've literally tapped out. I've given you everything I've got, like a Wrestle Kingdome main event. I've given you everything I've got. So, little housekeeping before we go. Make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and following us on all of our social media networks. You can follow us on Facebook for all of your wrestling, fantasy football content needs, sports needs in general. You can follow us you can find us on Flex Network on Facebook and on Twitter. For your football and fantasy football needs, you can follow us at Flex Network 1. And for the other side of the world, for your wrestling content, which you should be following us at FlexNet_PW Elite. You can find us on YouTube. Just search for Flex Network and Flex Network Wrestling for all of our content. We are on all of our majors. We are on the major podcasts. If you're a podcast listener, we are on that. Spotify, we're on the Apple. We are on pretty much, I would say, all of the major areas for podcasts. But if we're not somewhere where you get your podcasts, let us know. We'll get there so you can take us on the road and continue to listen to us. But that is going to be it for me, guys. I will see you guys next week. I will be here on the Flex Network on Wednesday for the Wild Card Weekend recap with my boys Flex Mike and Cowboy Cam, and also look ahead to division playoff weekend next week. And then I will be back here next Thursday for another edition of the Wrestling Week in Review show. But that's going to be it for me, guys. I have given everything for this week. All right. I am the SnowMan, and I will see you guys next week. Peace out. Yeah.
This has been the Pro Wrestling Week in Review show.
You got some fellow Canadians.
But when you're from Calgary,
Where's that?
Alberta, Canada,
A one-way first-class ticket to Larryland.
What is it with you folks coming to Florida? Stay in your own country.
This is the Flex Network. This is the Flex Network. Flex on them. Flex on everybody. Right here.
Why me? Why me? Why me?
don't blame Canada, blame yourself.
Feels like showtime every minute to me. I can't help it.
No. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Ta-ta for now.
We're out of time. Good night on Nitro.
The preceding announcement has been paid